Good morning and welcome to the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. I'm Esther.
And I'm Melanie.
And today we're talking about customer service on social media.
How important is customer service? Why should you have customer service? What does it take to actually implement customer service? Where should we start, Esther?
Well, first and foremost, it is fundamental to have customer service. Now, what are we talking about when we say customer service on social media? We mean just don't put up your page and forget about it. Interact, engage with people. There will be messages. Reply to the messages.
Be responsive, definitely.
Yes. And be nice when you're you might get messages at 3:00 in the morning. You're not expected to reply at 3:00 in the morning.
Unless you're open.
Or are you? Unless you're open. If you say open all hours, then yeah, you do sort of have to. But you've got the automations that you could set up there, right, Melanie? Or what's your view on the automated reply of "we'll be back shortly"?
It really depends on which platforms you're using. As you say, some platforms have automations and chatbots and that sort of thing. And so if you're having that type of automation, it can even say, look, we're not open at this time. You can catch us open between certain hours. Or it could just be a chatbot on like a messenger that you can now add onto your website. And fulfill any frequently asked questions, which actually is massively helpful. That's quite a useful tool to have. But what you've got to do first and foremost is manage your clients' or your customers' expectations. Their expectations may be different from the ones you have, and you have to work out what your competitors are doing. And if your direct competitors are open all hours, there's an expectation that you're going to be open all hours. If their customer expectations is that most people in the industry respond within a day, you've got to do the same. There's an expectation that we all have. So customer service, in my opinion, is if you're placing yourself out there, then you have to expect to respond to questions and queries, privately or publicly.
Yeah. And in terms of Twitter, for example, that would be a direct message or DM, or it would be replying with inside the tweet. If you're mentioned in a tweet, you'll get the notification. You might have it turned on for your emails as well, so you'll get notified double. But reply. And even if you can't help them, you might know somebody who can, and you can refer them on to them. If, though, you say that you're open all hours and you're in where we are, GMT, you could hire somebody, outsource the other hours to other time zones.
That's not unheard of.
You could have somebody in Australia, which is the opposite. They're 12, 13 hours ahead of us. So they could do all your night shift while you're sleeping, and then you do the day shift. That's also something that people are known to do.
Yeah. So, you can use chatbots, or you can use virtual assistants, or if you've got an international team, even better. I follow the likes of Mari Smith and Kim Garst, and they do have international teams, and you can bet your life that they're open all hours.
Yeah.
So you've got to put expectations, isn't it?
Yeah. And I remember when Facebook first did the responsiveness part, where if you reply within a certain number of minutes, you get a little green tick, and everyone was all, oh, I'm going to lose my green tick overnight. What am I going to do? And they started panicking, and it's really not. People have left that behind in the large part. At least I have. I don't.
I'm feeling old-fashioned now because I've managed to maintain that for myself and my clients for a long time.
Wow. That's really that's really great. But it wouldn't put me off. That's what I mean. It wouldn't put me off contacting a company if it didn't have a responsiveness, or if it says usually replies within 1 day. Then you expect, as what Melanie was saying, measure their expectations. You expect to get a reply a day later.
And there is certain expectations on different platforms, though, for customer service. And depending on the complaint, if it's a very serious complaint, one that you can actually put out publicly, like maybe on Twitter, then I would expect a response very quickly.
Yes. Yes. There are lots of things that people go to Twitter specifically to complain about in terms of customer service. You've got your broadband, your telephone service, your TV service, all your Sky, Netflix, etc. People go to Twitter because they know that they're going to get a response quickly. And the companies respond quickly because they know that everybody else is watching what they're doing.
Exactly.
And all their other clients, if they go in and search for, Netflix complaint or BT complaint or Aircom complaint, or it's just called Air now, isn't it? But I'm showing my age now. But you go in, you do search, and you do see, how quickly do these guys reply? And it helps to know that they have replied, even if it's a couple of minutes later, a couple of hours later. At least you know that there's somebody there that can reply to your query or complaint or your problem when you're there. That's on the consumer side. We always like to see that. So, Melanie, when you have your clients and they're asking questions or queries, or they have a problem with a section of your service, say that they're missing a document, or they haven't been able to see their ads analytics, how do you ask them to contact you? Do you ask them to say, send me an email, contact me on my website, use the chatbot? What do you tell your clients?
I find a personal response is better than going to chatbots. And because I am a one-person band, I can't sort of send them off to somebody else. I don't have a VA. So I would personally send them to my email address, which I monitor pretty much whilst I'm awake. If I'm conscious, I monitor. I mean, those apps that measure how many times you pick up your phone?
Yeah.
I stopped looking at it because I was embarrassed.
It does get bad. Yeah, no, we have a ticketing system. We have a specialized email address that we ask our clients to send questions through to. But obviously there's going to be one or two. If they're not at their emails or they don't have their emails on their phone, they'll go to Facebook, they'll go to Twitter and ask questions. And that's, you can't force your clients or force your customers or your potential customers to go to the one place that you would like them to go to. But you can suggest, like if you're selling products, you can suggest all our FAQs are on our website. If you can't find the answer there, then send me a message, private message. It's always nicer to get them privately rather than them blasting you on your actual page.
Well, absolutely. And you have a real job responding effectively to it then, because you're 9 times out of 10, they're putting up something relatively personal and you can't come back with personal information to carry the answer. So when dealing with complaints, especially public ones, I know it looks like people are bottling it, but you kind of always say, let's take this off to private message and we'll deal with this for you.
Yeah. But at least if you put it there,
at all.
But at least if you put it there, that you're saying, that it's visible to other people, that it's on your page saying, I see you, I will listen to you, but just not here. Then at least other people will know, okay, so she's not just deleting the message and walking away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
You show that you're there, that you are willing to respond, but just not publicly, which is, I mean, some people reply publicly and you're sort of going, that should never have been sent.
There are times when you have to respond publicly as well. It really
just
depends,
make sure that you take a deep breath first.
Yeah.
Just take a deep breath before replying. Walk away for 10 minutes. Gather your thoughts. Because sometimes there can be quite personal attacks. Depending on the business, depending on what it is that you do, you could find yourself being or feeling attacked because your business, your baby, it's very personal to each and every individual.
And it doesn't matter how long you're established either, or
No.
how big you are. If you have a direct interaction with your clients and you see somebody making an attack about the accounts department, or, sometimes, okay, it's an accounts issue or a problem in that respect, but it's still your business.
Yeah.
And it just remember badly.
Yeah. And just remember, people are 100 times more likely to leave a bad review than to leave a good review.
Yeah, there's some
It's
pages
they're
on Facebook that don't have anything else. It's just bad reviews.
yeah. And in that case, I would recommend turning off the reviews. You
Mm.
know, leaving them that they can contact you in other forms, but not there. But thankfully, we've only had good reviews on our Google My Business, haven't we, Melanie?
We have so far, yes. Just in case you're feeling freshly inspired, you're more than welcome to check out our Google My Business account and add to our flowing 5-star reviews. But,
Yeah.
we wanted to discuss customer service because there is an expectation that all of us put upon ourselves when we're putting our business out there. And people expect the same of us as well. So if you're expecting, let's say, DID to respond to a complaint that you've put on their Facebook page or on their Twitter account, let's say.
Can we explain what the DID is?
Oh, of course, you're up in Northern Ireland. Isn't it electronics company down here?
Okay.
So you would get your TVs and anything remotely electronic.
So for the UK audience, that would be like Curry's PC World, and for our American audience, that would be Best Buy.
Is that Best Buy? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you'd expect any sort of serious complaint about electronics to actually have a response fairly quickly, especially large companies like Best Buy and Curry's. And although you may not be very big as a brand yourself, you may be a sole trader, there's still an expectation.
Yeah. There's almost the same pressure on a small business, especially if it's not, like in your case, it's not Melanie Boylan. You do have a brand, it's Stomp, social media training. So it's not just, people might not think, oh, it's just one person until they get to know you and know that it's just you. There is that, if it's your name, and even though Mary Smith is just her name, she has a team behind her. So there's those differences that people don't take into consideration or don't think that they need to take into consideration when sending in a complaint. They expect Air to give just as good, or they expect the little guys to give just as good a service as the big guys like Air, or the big guys like BT or Verizon, or I'm trying to think of different ones in different countries. But you do expect the little ones, the ones that are just coming out, to have just as good customer service, if not better, than the big guys.
So yeah, I think we've probably discussed this to death now, Esther. But it is an important area to cover, and
yes,
it was actually a topic that was suggested to us to cover. So here we are. I hope you found it useful, and we'd love to hear your feedback on customer complaints and customer service. Any experiences you've had that you'd like to share?
Good as well as bad.
Well, yes, please.
Yeah.
And we're back each week with some new novel ideas. So do find us on all of our social platforms and send us your comments and your voice messages.
Yes, we'll be back next week for more. Goodbye.